here for our Gym Challenge, Premier Challenge in Pico Rivera, California at Psycho Turtle. I'm Dennis Geisler. Round number 5 of Swiss about to get underway. Final round between two and two players. The winner most likely floating to top cut. The loser certainly not getting there. It's Tyler and Hayley, two of our staples of the SoCal scene. Tyler with the Raging Bolt, Urshifu, Single Strike, Fluttermane, Incineroar, Cresselia, and Registeel. Hayley with the Dragonite Entei, Fluttermane, Rillaboom, Dondozo, and Tatsugiri. I can barely read Tyler's handwriting, as always. So, we'll see what this can do. Looking at this matchup here, it is interesting items here from Tyler's Registeel and Cresselia. Did I say that out loud? That's crazy. This is a Cresselia with skill swap, by the way, which could be pretty interesting to get Levitate on something like that Registeel. Did not see what Tyler locked into. Could have been something really exciting. Hayley certainly not prepared for whatever's happening here with Tyler's team. But regardless, we are getting underway. This is round number 5. Both these players 2 and 2. Winner probably through to top cut. Loser definitely not through to top cut. And we're getting underway. From Hayley, it's Dondozo Entei, and from Tyler, it's Incineroar and Registeel. Incineroar going to drop Dondozo's attack, but not going to do anything to Entei because of that inner focus. And now we've got Registeel here. So this Registeel, Terra Fairy with leftovers, Iron Defense, Body Press, Heavy Slam, and Protect. Could Terra Fairy right now and go for an Iron Defense. Not a whole lot gets through it if it goes for something like that, but it would still be a strange choice. It's going to be Dondozo switching out on Hayley's side. Most likely that we've got the Tatsugiri somewhere in the back, and we do have the double priority here with the Dragonite and the Entei. The Entei going to Sacred Fire the Registeel, going to burn as well. That will weaken the body press damage as well. Even though it's based on the defense stat, still weakens the damage. Parting Shot out onto the Dragonite, so going to lower its stats just a touch. The Dragonite is Choice Band. Terra Normal as well. The Entei with the Assault Vest, Terra Grass. Their moves are pretty normal. The Entei's got Crunch and so Snarl. That's a little unusual. And Registeel will go for that Iron Defense, but now its Body Presses will do the same amount of damage as it would have done before. The unfortunate thing about that matchup there. What will Tyler go for here? Does have the opportunity to go for either a Trick Room or a Skill Swap from Cresselia onto Registeel. Try to flip things around. It's going to be a Sacred Fire onto the Cresselia. No Terra. Dragonite outrages into the Cresselia as well. Not going to pick up that knockout. Cresselia will Lunar Blessing, which will recover the Registeel status condition. On top of healing a little bit of HP. Do not think about the Lunar Blessing status recovery all that often, I will be honest with you. But that certainly got some value down, and now this Registeel with the leftovers, with the 2 Iron Defenses, starting to look a little scary. This is an Iron Focused Dragonite, so no multi-scale, not going to take a nice weaker hit at the start. Another Sacred Fire into the Registeel. It doesn't do much damage at all. Not going to burn. Outrage. Dragonite's locked into it. That's not going to do much damage either. Registeel finally starting to body press, and now it's going to start laying down the hurt. One-hit knockout onto the Entei, and Cresselia going to go for the Trick Room. So now the Registeel will also be going first every turn. This Registeel is wild. I have not seen this strategy before. Tyler, one of our more creative players that we have here, and definitely some creativity in this team. See Dondozo come out here. Um, the skill swap. I see. I'm seeing the vision. Dondozo's gonna protect here. Stall out an additional turn. Registeel will also protect. And that means what we're going to get here. Cresselia going for a skill swap into the Dondozo, not going to do anything. Wants to try to get Unaware off of Dondozo. Outrage ended up going into the Registeel. Dragonite is locked into it, but now is confused out of it. Got the 30 turns, but now is confused. Can switch out now. Choice is here. Good to go for an additional Iron Defense or a Body Press into the Dondozo, but you really gotta get the Dondozo off of the Unaware in order to get the Registeel damage down. This is a bizarre matchup that I have not I can't say I'm that familiar with, but I think the Dondozo has to get skill swapped. The weirdest interaction I think I've seen in a while. Tatsugiri comes on in. I'm going to give that commander bonus to the Dondozo. That's not going to get skill swapped away anytime soon. Eventually. And we're going to see the Terraspil here. This is Tyler's Terra. It's going to be the Cresselia going Terra Fairy. Not going to take any damage against a Dondozo Order Up. Both of them resist that. Registeel will protect. Cresselia with the skill swap. I believe that was actually a double protect from the Registeel, which is actually pretty unusual. The skill swap there, swapped abilities. Now a levitating Dondozo. Many reminders of series or back in Regulation A, the Fissure Dondozos that we would see back then. But now we are at a point where no more unaware on the Dondozo, and it's in for some damage now to take damage against this Body Press. That did not much damage. Lunar Blessing comes through, but the big question will be how much does the Earthquake do against this Dondozo? Or excuse me, against the Registeel. Not much damage either. We might be here for a while. That Earthquake did not do very much damage, and it might be an opportunity for Tyler to get another Iron Defense up. But simultaneously an opportunity for Hayley to start launching out some Order Ups, potentially, to try to boost the attack. It might come down to a critical hit at some point. This is a very bizarre set of interactions that we have going on here. Gonna be another Iron Defense from this Registeel. We get the Lunar Blessing out of the Cresselia, heal up a little bit more. And the Dondozo gets its leftovers healing. I believe it protected the turn. Which will stall out the Trick Room, but Cresselia has a pretty easy opportunity to get that Trick Room back up. A Wave Crash might be able to do a bit of damage into the Dondozo, but the Dondozo doesn't want to lose too much of its own HP in this, well, likely to be a very long war. See the Earthquake. See what damage this does against Cresselia, not much, and does not do much of anything against the Registeel, even super effective damage. Not going to do much there. And the Trick Room gets up. Certainly Tyler is in the advantage state long term, I think, with this, especially at Registeel leftovers. Certainly it's healing back basically everything that's being taken. I think Hayley has to order up, try to break out of this one, but it's going to be difficult to. Body Press. Another nice hit into the Dondozo, and this time a skill swap from Cresselia. It's going to be Unaware Registeel now, so it will take even less damage against the Dondozo. The Wave Crash launches out. There goes Cresselia. The Terrastal finally dropping down, but that'll mean Dondozo gets taken down by the recoil as well. And the fun levitating Dondozo is now out of here. And Registeel will heal up a little bit more at the leftovers. It's like nothing happened at all. And still 2 more Pokemon in the pack for Tyler. I believe it's just that Dragonite left for Hayley, Dragonite, and Tatsugiri. Incineroar will come in and not do much of anything, because the Intimidate doesn't do anything against Tatsugiri and does not even affect the Dragonite with the Inner Focus. Dragonite is choice band, so it has to lock itself into something. Doesn't have the Stomping Tantrum or anything. It just Outrage, Iron Head, Extreme Speed, Rock Slide. Goodbye Tatsugiri. It's taken down immediately. And the Incineroar parting shots into the Dragonite to weaken it just a bit. I still think it'll get knocked out in one hit by the Body Press, but it might be close. And regardless, not a bad idea for Tyler to keep this keep it under control. Though now Tyler does have to reveal the Flutter Mane as the 4th Pokemon. Rock Slide comes out. Mediocre damage against both these Pokemon. Literally no damage against Registeel. Like mediocre damage against Flutter Mane, and that's not even. This is bad. This is very bad. Hayley might not going to forfeit this one, but Body Press going to do about half the HP, and Flutter Mane, assuming it does not flinch to Rock Slide, is going to finish off the rest of it. The only one hit by Rock Slide, and it does not flinch. Moonblast comes through, and Tyler with a Game 1 victory. That's an interesting Registeel. I wonder what the adaptations will be for game number 2, as if Hayley has any answer to the Registeel, I think we are going to see it. There are 2 ground moves on this team. Or excuse me, 3 ground moves on this team. Dondozo's Earthquake, Rillaboom's High Horsepower, and Entei's Stomping Tantrum. Entei also has the Sacred Fire. No other Fire-type moves, not a whole lot else that will do much against this Registeel, other than maybe a Muddy Water Accuracy drop from the Tatsugiri, just the Tatsugiri. But it's gonna be difficult for Hayley to work through this Registeel. I guess I'm trying to consider what the answers to this Registeel would be for an optimally prepared team, for a team without Dondozo and Tatsugiri, which is not necessarily an optimally prepared team, obviously, but for a team that had an answer for this Registeel, I guess it would be special damage. Registeel is the balanced one out of the 3. Equally high defense and special defense naturally. This one's trained a lot more in defense and also has that iron defense to double, triple, quadruple its defense stat for those big Body Press hits. But yeah, there's not a lot of special damage that is strong against steel types, and there's definitely not a lot of special damage that's strong against fairy types in the current metagame. This Registeel kind of works in a way. But we'll see. Hayley only down 1 game. That's how it works. If you lose the first game, you're only down 1 game. This round number 5. Both these players at 2-2. The winner advances to Top Cut, probably. The loser definitely doesn't advance to Top Cut. So those are our stakes that we are under here. The Dondozo Flutter Mane out of Hayley, and the Incineroar Registeel once again from Tyler. So got the Dondozo off the bat this time, along with the Flutter Mane. We had the Dondozo start out in the last battle. We'll see what the Flutter Mane might be able to do to this Registeel, but the problem is the Registeel actually has Heavy Slam for the Flutter Mane, but I wonder if that at least stops the Iron Defense from getting up. And Flutter Mane can't be fake-outed. Dondozo sure can, and it will not switch out, no switch outs. Flutter Mane gets a Shadow Ball off. See how much this does. Ooh, nowhere near enough damage. Heavy Slam comes out onto the Dondozo, not the Flutter Mane. Might have anticipated a switch there, but whatever was anticipated is not what we got. So, potentially a bit more damage for this Flutter Mane to launch out, although the Flutter Mane also has to definitely consider its days numbered, standing right in front of a Registeel with Heavy Slam. Tyler, weighing our option. Never looked at Dondozo's tail that closely before. No, it's got a little stubby tail. It's funny looking. Let's see the Incineroar swap out here. Hard swap out, not going to Parting Shot. See the Cresselia come in here. And the Registeel will protect. Dondozo also protects, and so Flutter Mane, the only one actually able to make a move this turn. Goes for a Dazzling Gleam. A cool... Let's count the amount of damage. Excuse me. About, that's actually more damage than I thought it'd be, like 45 damage. I thought it was going to be like a cool 10 damage in the Cresselia, but no, it's a neutral hit from a Flutter Mane. Going to do some decent damage. As a reminder, actually, this Flutter Mane is Focus Sash, so Tyler has to break that sash before getting the maximum amount of damage down onto the Flutter Mane. Cresselia will swap out again. And Incineroar comes back in to lower Dondozo's attack down even further. But Dondozo switches out anyways. And Entei comes in. Flutter Mane goes for the Shadow Ball into the Incineroar. Shouldn't do much damage. Indeed, it does not. And now we finally get the Registeel Heavy Slam into the Flutter Mane, brings it down to the Focus Sash. Just one more HP to get through, but that can sometimes be the hardest part, just getting an additional hit down onto that Flutter Mane. And now an awkward situation to be in for Tyler with this Entei sitting out here. Opportunity here to Terra Fairy Registeel, as we have discussed, is now a bit more resistant to the hits of Entei. No more weaknesses there. He goes for the Sacred Fire. 50% chance to burn, but we know that the Lunar Blessing will also get rid of that burn. Incineroar's Parting Shot will likely get Cresselia in here. Indeed it will. We'll get Cresselia back into the battle. See if a Shadow Ball is able to take down the Cresselia, or potentially two hits, a Shadow Ball and something else from the Entei. Registeel does have the Leftovers healing, but that is going to be negated by the burn. As we witnessed there. Any decisions maker? It's gonna be Cresselia swapping back out again. When Incineroar comes back in, this is true balance gameplay. Incineroar back into the battle. Entei's attack doesn't get lowered. Flutter Mane's attack doesn't matter. But Entei's presence is now here. Shadow Ball into the Incineroar. Not much damage there. And the Crunch as well. Definitely would have knocked out the Cresselia, but not going to do much to the Incineroar. And Flutter Mane going to get taken down, finally. Nice little move there by Tyler. Switch back and forth enough, fake the Lunar Blessing, and get the knockout with the Registeel. Doesn't matter if you're burned, doesn't matter what else, you're gonna do 1 damage. Dondozo will come out now. Could be an opportunity to get some value out of the Dondozo. Potentially see the Tatsugiri come in, the Dondozo Tatsugiri duo. An opportunity to switch out the -1 attack Entei into a Tatsugiri, get that full value Dondozo. We will see the Registeel switch out. I think that means the Entei is not switching out. Fluttermane comes in. Sonora the fake out onto the Dondozo. Entei's getting a hit off. It's going to be a Sacred Fire into the Fluttermane. Going to do about half the HP there. Doesn't matter if it gets the burn. Does get it. And Dondozo going last. Not going to get anything done. The burn will be a little bit of lingering damage, but won't be all that much, all things considered. Big thing here is the Fluttermane in the battle now. Might have been predicting the Tatsugiri switch in, but no Tatsugiri, and that could spell a little bit of trouble for Tyler. In a very good spot, but now has to at least be a little concerned about the game state here. And Incineroar swapping out once more. Cresselia coming on back in. Nothing really threatening Cresselia anymore. Dondozo will protect. Would have blocked something there. The Perish Song from the Fluttermane, and that is a really nice move there. The Sacred Fire finishes that off, but the Perish Song is here. So what I like about this Perish Song, it means that this Dondozo has to be, it's a really awkward spot to be in, because you only have one Pokemon in the back. It's the Tatsugiri, most likely. Okay? Yeah, we've seen the Fluttermane, but we have not seen the 4th Pokemon. We saw the Fluttermane drop earlier. So now a very awkward spot to be in, where you have to switch out your Pokemon or they're gonna get knocked out by the Perish Song. But you also really have to deal with this Registeel before it gets all of its Iron defenses up, and before it gets a Lunar Blessing back and a bunch of HP back and a skill swap, potentially to even give it Levitate, but definitely to get Unaware off of Dondozo. Dondozo will be the one to switch out first. And it is Tatsugiri that comes in here. So that resets the Perish Song there. Registeel will protect. Entei crunches into the Cresselia. That does way less damage than I thought it would. Cresselia gets the Trick Room up. And at this point, there are 2 Perish counters on the board here. Entei and Cresselia, I believe. Or no, it's just Entei. Cresselia and Registeel are both not working. Oh no, Cresselia does have a Perish count. So Cresselia will have to switch out as well, which is a little annoying for Tyler, but all things considered, Tyler's in a really nice spot. Tatsugiri is also Choice Scarf and gets to try to get some work done while it's the only one out here. Could also switch right back into the Dondozo. Not a horrible decision. But that will also mean that you cannot switch the Entei out this turn, and the switch in to Tatsugiri on the next turn will be the most obvious thing ever. It is the Tatsugiri switching out back into the Dondozo. That does mean that Tyler is in a pretty nice spot to just get an Iron Defense up, get a Lunar Blessing up, and chill out just a bit. There's the Iron Defense. There is the Lunar Blessing. Heals up the Cresselia a bit, heals up the Registeel, gets rid of the burn, and the Sacred Fire once again Gotta wait on the burn on that again, and it's gonna burn. Now Tyler will need to rotate out the Cresselia, because otherwise you lose the Cresselia. But Registeel's in a pretty nice spot to just keep clicking Iron Defense. Not a whole lot to really stop you right now. Parish count falls to 1. Entei and Cresselia will get knocked out next turn. But I think it's a pretty free Iron Defense turn. I think Entei has to switch out. Cresselia does have to switch out as well, but that's not a bad thing with Incineroar coming in to put a nice little Intimidate onto the Dondozo. We'll drop it down to +1 attack when the Entei switches out into the Tatsugiri and gets the Commander bonus. And potentially you can get a parting shot as well. Gonna be Incineroar coming back in, as we mentioned. Worst case scenario, Incineroar gets knocked out and it'll just be Cresselia and Registeel, but that should be more than enough to wrap up this battle. Dondozo will protect. Don't love that decision. And it looks like Entei is just going to accept its fate here. Going to Sacred Fire into the Incineroar, not going to pick up the knockout, can't burn, did crit. I was going to say that did a lot of damage. It will bring out the Citrus Berry from the Incineroar. And there goes Entei from the Parish song. So it'll just be the Dondozo and the Tatsugiri as our lingering heroes, but the can Dondozo get it done? There goes Entei. Parish counter drops to 0. And it's just Cresselia, or it's just Dondozo and Tatsugiri. And frankly, Tatsugiri can't do too much without the Dondozo. Finally get that Commander bonus. If you are Hayley, I think you have to potentially try to attack into the Incineroar slot, but I mean, that's the thing, is that the Incineroar can cycle in and out, and that'll weaken the Dondozo pretty substantially. But 2 turns of Trick Room remaining. The big problem here is that if Cresselia goes down, a lot of Registeel's value, like Registeel is doing like no damage if Cresselia goes down. Get the Protect here. I honestly would have preferred a Iron Defense, I think. I think you want to make your Dondozo as tanky as possible here. Gonna get Incineroar going back. This could be a big turn here. This could be a very, very big play. If Hayley predicted the parting shot, Hayley can get a bunch of damage down onto the Cresselia. This has to be enough. Ooh, it is nowhere near enough. And now Tyler's in a great spot. Can go for a Lunar Blessing here. Will heal off the Registeel's burn permanently. And that should certainly be enough to at least get through a lot of the last couple stages of this battle. Registeel takes another tick there. Healing the leftovers and going back to it. I think you have to Lunar Blessing here if you want the Registeel to get more done, but I guess you want to make sure to get the most important thing down, and that is the getting the Unaware off, so even like the boosted Iron Defense will still do more, we'll still get more done. It also means that the Cresselia will, the Cresselia will ignore the Dondozo boosts. Get the Earthquake. We'll hit both these targets because, again, no more Levitate. That's not going to do much damage, and I think this one is slowly going to end in Tyler's favor. Very slowly. Trick Room will end this turn. I believe that Iron Defense has put Registeel all the way up to its full Iron Defense potential. And now it can start laying it on with the body presses. Wave Crash, but it is at neutral and not going to be enough to knock out the Cresselia. That might be the beginning of the end as the Lunar Blessing comes down. Should be at least enough to keep Cresselia up for an additional turn. That'll be close, actually, but most importantly, it gets the burn off of Registeel. No Unaware. And that'll be a nice little chunk of damage. That will certainly be enough after a couple of turns, and if Dondozo does not go for a Wave Crash into the Cresselia right now, It can also get the Unaware onto the Registeel, which will make that Registeel basically just destroy Dondozo. It can also Trick Room as well, which will mean the Registeel goes first. Wave Crash. Will that be enough to knock it out? 1 HP on the Cresselia. Just barely enough. Body Press comes through. Just a teensy bit of HP remaining for the Dondozo as well. And now it means that if Cresselia wants to go for a Lunar Blessing, it can. If it wants to go for a skill swap, it also can. And regardless, Dondozo, yeah, gonna have to protect here. Does Hayley need the mythical quadruple protect? I'm not really sure how to get out of this one if you are Hayley. And even with that, there's I don't really see any way Dondozo is able to break through Registeel at this point. The Lunar Blessing comes through for the Cresselia. The Cresselia can actually get another Lunar Blessing down and potentially heal any remaining Dondozo damage. But I think Tyler might try to end this one now. Body Press onto the Dondozo, picks up the KO. There it goes. And now the Ice Beam onto the lingering Tatsugiri. Does a little bit of damage, not going to do too much. But the Tatsugiri will most likely drop to this Body Press. And Tyler will pick up a round 5 victory, 2-0 over Hayley. And Tyler will most likely float through to our final Top Cut round. That was just a 2-0. I think it was the longest battle of round 5. I think everyone else has gotten up. That's what you get out of the Registeel and the Dondozo facing each other. Very bizarre battle between those two, especially with those unaware skill swaps. In any case, we will take a quick break, we'll tabulate the results, we'll check everyone's team sheets, and we will be back with the quarterfinal round of our Gym Challenge Premier Challenge. Do not go anywhere.